you're in summer break. I know you're not in school, but we got your questions.
So you were on the bench side when this happened. So you were AR1. Were you the senior AR in that case?
Yeah. That was at the time my 3rd year on the international team. Anybody else?
Anybody got a question?
Come on.
Ray, anyway.
When you have a player that's challenging your calls a lot, how do you handle that? At a certain, the big thing is you got to try to remain calm and not let him. They're trying to get in your face, and you want to get them to recognize that I know what you're doing. You're just trying to get in my face, and it's not going to bother me. But at a certain point, there's a breaking point where you have to do something.
I think first you have to recognize why the player is doing what they're doing. Why are they yelling at you? Are they upset about a call? Is it just emotional? If it's just emotional and they're upset about it, then if you can move away from them, you move away from them. You handle it that way. If it's consistent and it's this after that, after that, after that, then there's something else behind it. You have to try to figure out why. And sometimes it's even to the point of asking them, why are you mad? What are they going to tell you? They're going to start a conversation with you now instead of just yell at you. It becomes a two-way conversation. It's a little bit easier to do at the professional level than it is at the youth level, but the same concept applies. There's one thing people have asked before. Maybe this is somebody's question, right? So I'll put a question. What's the biggest difference between youth play and professional play? Only thing that's different, in my opinion, is the speed of play. That's it. The technical ability, they grow as they get better as they grow, but ultimately it's the same at the youth level, at that level, as it is at the professional level. There's no difference. Right? The speed of play is the only difference. They're so much faster and so much, everything happens so technically correct at that pace, most of the time, unless you watched the US the other night. For times, they did really well, but at times they weren't so good. But they, everything happens so fast that's the only difference. So as a referee, when you're refereeing at your level, as you grow with that game, if you stay with it, it's all going to come with you. It all just, you grow right along with it. So you learn different techniques of how to handle things. Sometimes it's barking right back at them and getting them to move away, right? Sometimes it's, I'm not listening to you. I have absolutely nothing to say to you right now. Sometimes you completely ignore them. You don't even do something like that, Other times, work with them. Manage them, find out why. Why are they upset? There's all kinds of different ways to manage people. That's one of those things that, again, when I was your age, learning the things that I learned as a referee at your age and growing up helped me in business today. So even if I didn't referee, even if I didn't still referee, learning those things that I did when I'm your age, helped me in my career. There's no question. A friend of mine, we've refereed together for a pretty long time. I hadn't seen him for maybe 15 years. He's a bit older than I am, but we both grew up together in Region 2, going to regionals, going to different camps, doing different things, as hopefully some of you will do. He is now the Senior Vice President of Research and Development at Kraft. He's big time in business. We sat down a few weeks ago and had a coffee. And one of his things to me was, I use things every day in my job as a Senior Vice President of Research and Development at one of the biggest companies in the world that I learned in refereeing. You will gain a competitive edge in your life because you're a referee. 100% true. So, but back to that point, there's a lot of different ways to manage. I think you have to try to figure out why. And if you can figure out why, then you can learn how to manage it. There may be times, is anybody going to a game tomorrow night? Nobody's going to a game?
My mom might. I won't be there.
Oh.
I'll either be in Alabama or on a plane.
Okay. We'll have a good weekend. Nobody's going to a game overnight. Why don't you go to games?
I'd like to.
Sorry? Going to the lake?
It's
Well,
summer.
okay, so aside, wait a second, do you go to games?
Yes.
Okay, who,
You do
okay.
sometimes go to games.
Who went to the games this year? Who went earlier this year? We took the referees. There you go. There's a handful of these guys that went to the game.
All right. All right.
It's summertime.
That's right. I know you can't go to all the games, but you know, I think you gotta. I said this to Keith earlier. You know, when you watch the games, whether it's the Bundesliga or the EPL or MLS or Serie A in Italy or La Liga in Spain or Argentina or Mexico, whatever your favorite league is, watch the referees and learn from them, but don't do what they do. Okay? That sounds kind of funny because you want to emulate them. You want to do the things that they're doing because they're at the top level, right? Okay? Learn from them, but don't do what they do because you never know what's going on in order for some of the goofy things that they do that are outside of what you know. You have no idea what's happening in that game, in that stadium, in the teams, in the media, in the league itself. I'm not suggesting there's cheating, but that's all part of the way that games are managed at the professional level. Is we know all of those things. We know there are things about tomorrow night's game that happen off the field that will impact what happens on the game. I already know some of the things I have to be prepared for tomorrow night that have nothing to do with the game being played. I have, if you watch the game, see if you can figure this out. I have one particular thing that I have to worry about tomorrow night because of a situation that happened 2 weeks ago. I will have my hands full, and the fourth official will have his hands full tomorrow night because of one situation. You know,
The coach. The coach.
Yep. Yeah.
He's been ejected several times.
No, just once.
Just once this year.
Just once.
Just one.
He should have been ejected.
Great guy, amazing coach, right? And I don't even care why he was sent off a couple of weeks ago. Okay? His story is completely different from what the referees said.
Yep.
So, okay, fine. We still have to manage the game tomorrow night, and it's his first game back.
Yep.
All right. So
Are you
always.
AR1?
I'm AR1. That is always challenging. Always challenging.
Don't need any names, but there are teams that you like to watch and you like to ref, and teams that you don't. Are there locations that you really enjoy doing games?
Yeah.
And locations that you don't, like Dallas in July or something like
The
that?
Dallas and July is kind of difficult.
It's just June.
June's not so bad, but no.
It's only 93 today.
I'll tell you what. I did a game here in I don't know when it was. This number when they played at South Lake. Remember the high school field at South Lake?
Yeah.
It's AstroTurf.
Yeah.
And it was April. As a matter of fact, it was the first weekend of Dallas Cup.
Yep.
And my feet were burning, literally burning. And they were bringing water over so we could pour it in our shoes. That was the first half.
Yeah.
It was incredible, unbelievable. Just let me finish his question, but hold that thought. I love going to Toronto. Toronto's a blast. Great city, great culture, great fans. Seattle is spectacular. Not just for, I mean.
You watched the Seattle game with that?
I've done 3 games in Seattle.
You see the keeper screw up the other Seattle game?
Last night? Yeah, that was kind of funny. You know what? It happens. But I did Celtic and Man U in Seattle a number of years ago, full stadium. I did Barcelona against Seattle last year, or 2 years ago in Seattle on a league game up there. And I wish I could sit back there more often. In 15 years in Major League Soccer, I've been to New York for 1 league game. 1. I don't know why. I enjoyed going to New York as a city. I haven't been to the new stadium yet. What else?
Players. Are there players that you like to watch, and players you go, I really don't have to deal with them tonight?
Yeah, sure. But you have to. I mean, players are going to be there no matter what, so you have to deal with them. You have to learn over time. Remember, the players in your leagues get to know you over time, and they may not get to know you as intimately as they get to know us, because, like I said, I can have a conversation with Chad Barrett, or last summer maybe, I was walking through the airport in Chicago. I was on business, and Bruce Arena, the coach for LA, he said, "Hey, George," as we passed by in the airport. Bob Bradley, the national team coach, same thing a few years ago in Detroit. They were connecting in Detroit to go to Columbus for a game. I was connecting in Detroit for business. And walked by each other, had a nice conversation, you know, and they grabbed me. I didn't even see that. I'm focused on, you know, when I'm in airports, I go. So that's nice. There's a bit of a rapport. They get to know you. They know that you're not just, you don't just wear yellow every weekend and go carry a flag. That there's more to you than that. You know? Yeah, there's players that you enjoy more than others. There's some players you just got to figure them out. They don't ever want to talk to you. Okay, fine. It's no problem. Other guys, you know, you'll see them afterwards at dinner in a restaurant or maybe in a bar or something like that, and you buy each other a beer. Brew beer in some cases. Actually, there's a player, I won't name it, but last year we were in LA, and it wasn't the Galaxy, it was Chivas USA, and we met up, not intentionally, but we met up with one of the players from Chivas USA in a bar afterwards, and we offered to buy him a beer, and he doesn't drink, so nothing. You know Bobby Ryan? Bobby Ryan plays, he's a St. Louis kid. My understanding is, during the season, he never touched or even came close to alcohol. None. Zero. And then in the off season, it's so short that, I mean, if he had a beer or two with some friends, okay, great, but otherwise, nothing. The game's changed. When I grew up refereeing, you like to go out and have a lot of fun, and after the games were over, you go out and have a few beers with your friends when you're old enough, sometimes when you're not. But I never did that. But it's for the camera. But in any case, you know, now the game is different. It's so much more. There's so much more money on the line. The focus and the pressure that you have, you can't get involved with stuff that's outside of it. You have to be really focused to be, whether it's to be a professional player in any sport or to be a referee. You really have to focus. We've taken a lot of time.
Sarah had one question. Go ahead,
Yes,
Sarah.
ma'am.
Well, actually, it wasn't a question. About pouring water in your shoes. When you're wearing black shoes, don't ever pour water in it. Well, actually, don't ever pour water in your shoes anyways.
Why?
Because the water heats up.
Oh,
So it just makes your feet even more.
that's a good point. Never thought about that. Huh.
Yes, Mr. Holden.
Great point.
Do you ever like second guess yourself when you're repping?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you make a decision, you know you make the decision, you're 100% correct, unless you know you're wrong. And in a lot of cases, the best thing you can do is tell them, sorry, I messed up. What are they going to say? I had one under 19 game years and years and years ago. I was probably a state referee at the time, where I made a decision, it was completely wrong. Completely wrong. And I just pop, sorry, my fault, it's this way. I got it totally wrong. And the coach was screaming, and the players were screaming, and the guy standing next to me stands up. He says, "Coach, it's all right. He said he messed up." Okay, great. It worked. You know, I don't know, but it worked. But yeah, sometimes you second guess. Sometimes you think you made the right decision, and you're 100% sure, but you just really got to see that video. And you don't have that luxury. I do. And you just really got to see it on tape.
George, we really appreciate you coming in and taking time. Hopefully you guys will come out to the games, and I don't know when you're coming back again, but hopefully we'll let you know when he's going to be back in Dallas again sometime this year. You guys come out and see him again at the games. So I thank you again.
Your Friday.
Thank you for spending your Friday. Make sure you sign in so you get credit, guys, because I know it's important.
That's cool.